Hi everyone, Kate here from a different location, and I am going to be making a Victorian recipe. I'm going to be making one by Francatelli, who was Queen Victoria's chef. I found out about him from the Victoria TV show that was on a few years ago. Hopefully they'll keep making the seasons. They stopped after season 3. But I'm going to be making a bacon and cabbage soup. I've noticed that much like Victorian knitting patterns, Victorian recipes don't seem to be too heavy on details. So basically it says, put bacon to boil in a pot with 2 gallons. This also would be like a big chunk of bacon. But I have just gotten 2 pounds of thick sliced bacon, and I'll be slicing these up, I don't know, maybe into 4 pieces each. And hopefully it works well. Then it wants you to add cabbage, well washed, which I think actually I'll just take off the top leaves because these top leaves are looking a little rough. Then well washed and split down. Parsnip, which I have only cooked with parsnip for like one other soup that I make, but I really like it when it's in there. And also carrots. And then it says season with pepper and no salt. He thinks the bacon would make it salty enough. So we'll see if he's right. I am doubtful because I always think recipes need more salt. And then it says to simmer for 2 hours. But first you bring the bacon to a boil, and then you skim it at the top, I guess if there's fat or other things. So then you put the vegetables in and you simmer it for 2 hours. And you pour into a large bowl containing slices of bread. So you put bread in the bowl and then serve the soup on top. Eat the soup first, and I love this, make it a rule that those who eat the most soup are entitled to the largest share of bacon. This is from his cookbook. I'll put a picture of the cover here. That was basically to teach families how to cook economically. A lot of the recipes in here do not seem appealing. This was one that jumped out. I was like, bacon, cabbage, other vegetables. I could get behind this. I don't know what the broth is going to taste like. It's like a bacon broth. So this will be interesting. The boys are happily playing outside. We'll see how long that lasts. I have just put on Rear Window before it leaves Prime. So tragically, when you're seeing this in October, it is no longer on Prime. Hopefully they'll bring it back again. But it's been way too long since I've seen this, and I'm instantly calmed. Even though it's an intense movie, it's suspenseful, right? I'm gonna see if I can do a little chopping montage for you, and let's get cooking. I have chopped everything up, and I forgot just how long chopping a bunch of stuff up can take. It's about 40 minutes, and the boys are still happily playing outside. I can't believe it. And I had forgotten how amazing Rear Window is. Just the dialogue, the characters are all so developed for such a plot-based movie. It's amazing. And Grace Kelly, I think, is just one of the most beautiful women ever. I think her and Audrey Hepburn and Julie Andrews, to me, are just the most beautiful women. So she's just a delight to watch. And the bacon is in there. I'm worried that I have maybe used way too much meat. I mean, that is only 2 pounds of meat, but look at that. I mean, I guess I'm trying to think when I use stew meat, I guess it's typically a pound. I might end up dividing this into 2 pots, cooking it all and freezing half. Hopefully this is good. I hope we're not left with a ton of very weird soup, but I'm going to get this boiling. As soon as it has boiled, I will add the vegetables. Hopefully the bacon just gets a lot smaller after boiling some. I don't know. And here you can see that it is way too full. So I think I'm going to divide it between 2 pots and take half this water too, because I also don't want to have like none of that flavor in the second pot of soup, because I still have to add the cabbage, which will really boil down, but I still have to add the cabbage and carrots and parsnip. Here we have an absurd amount of soup cooking. It's just hard to envision how much 2 pounds of bacon is going to look like when you put it in a pot with other soup. I think I should have just done 1 pound and half a cabbage, but then I don't know what I would have used the other half of the cabbage for. So it is what it is. If it's good, maybe I also could share it with a neighbor, but I don't know how much hot soup appeals in August. I find it interesting that the only spice used is pepper in this recipe, and I think that spices were really expensive and a lot less easily accessible. I also find it interesting that there is no onion called for in this. I would think if you can access, parsnip and carrot, that onion would be easy too, but maybe not. Here is all the soup dished out into bowls. That actually dishing this up, I don't know how much of it, especially Arthur will eat because he's pretty picky. But that did use up basically half the portion in that. But then we have this big old pot. This is ridiculous. Doesn't this look like orphanage food? Can't you just picture this being some of the food that Oliver Twist was given, even though there's bacon in it? I don't know. It just looks very basic. So we're gonna see what the flavor is like. To be honest, I'm not expecting great things. We'll have to see. I'm just gonna close out this cooking vlog. I hope that you have enjoyed it. It's a couple days later and I realized I did not tell everyone what we thought of the soup. As predicted, Arthur did not like the soup. There are not many soups that he likes. I think part of him disliking them is he doesn't give it a chance because it's really annoying and cumbersome for him to scoop it up in the spoon, and he just finds it a frustrating experience. So I think he's just not receptive to soup. Peter loved it. And my husband really liked it. He's actually not that big into soup. So he had a bowl, but he says he doesn't like the amount of work it takes to eat a bowl of soup. I really liked it too. I was surprised that I really liked it. The only thing is it needed so much salt. I don't know if Victorian bacon was so different that it would have been a lot much more salty, or was their palate, did they just have less flavor in their foods? I'm not sure. I forgot to add pepper to the soup, before I served it. So we've just been adding pepper to each serving. And I think hopefully we're going to get a big Tupperware this weekend and put as much soup as we can in that Tupperware and put it in the freezer. And maybe in honor of Victober, we'll have some of the Francatelli soup then. And I also did not serve it with the bread in the bowls. You know how you're supposed to ladle the soup on top of the bread? It didn't seem appealing enough, especially with just the really, the flimsy store-bought whole grain bread that we have. If I was going to do it, and maybe I'll do this in October, I would get some really strong Italian or French bread, and it could be good that way. I just don't think it was going to work with the kind of bread that we had. You just pay attention to my Victober vlogs, and hopefully that's when I've broken out the soup again. We'll have had over a month without having it. I like to wait a while, between having meals, but the broth was excellent. It was a vegetable broth, from the parsnips and carrots and cabbage, with a little bit of the meaty taste from the bacon. And the Parsnip I especially enjoyed, and I think it's because I don't have it with much. It's a really unique tasting vegetable. It's definitely not like a carrot. It's very different. And I think that's all that I had to say about it. I did look up Francatelli's biography after cooking it, and I thought he cooked for Queen Victoria for a long time because of the TV series Victoria, but he only cooked for her for 2 years, I think it was. And then he had different, well-known people that he was the chef for, and he wrote several cookery books. And I hope that everyone has enjoyed this, and I'll be back with another video soon. Bye.